The American Civil War, the bloodiest war in U.S. history. Captain America Civil War, not the bloodiest war in the MCU, but an awesome movie. Beyond the spectacle of Iron Man and Captain America ripping each other apart, there is a deeper meaning below the surface about the dangers of fighting those closest to us. Not because they are our enemies, but because we refuse to listen, forgive, and humble ourselves. Let's break down the lessons of Captain America Civil War and see what truths it holds about the dangers of division. And no, I'm not talking about math. I'm talking about separation of friendships. Unlike the previous Avengers films, Captain America Civil War doesn't focus on stopping a major external threat. It's about the fallout of their previous actions leading to war within. From the opening scene, we see that even heroes make mistakes. Wanda Maximoff tries to save Steve Rogers, but her actions result in innocent lives lost. That moment leads to the Sokovia Accords, an attempt to control heroes through government oversight. Tony Stark, weighed down by the guilt of his previous failures, believes the Avengers need outside accountability. Steve Rogers, having seen government corruption firsthand, refuses to put the Avengers under political control. Their disagreement quickly spirals out of control, not because either of them is particularly wrong, but because they refuse to listen to each other. And this is where the real danger comes in. If a house is divided against itself, that house cannot stand. The Avengers aren't defeated by Thanos or Ultron in Civil War. They're defeated by their own prides and unwillingness to listen. Tony Stark's entire journey in the MCU is about trying to control the uncontrollable. He built his follow-up Iron Man suits in his first movie, trying to stop terrorists and other government powers from using his weapons for war. He created Ultron to try to put a suit of armor around the world. He even created the Hulkbuster suit to try to stop the Hulk if he ever got out of hand. Tony's greatest strength is his greatest flaw. He never stops trying to fix things. He believes that the Sokovia Accords will prevent another disaster. But the problem, his desire for control, is driven by guilt. Instead of seeking true accountability, he's looking for a quick solution to ease his conscience. Tony continues to fall victim to his pride, and pride leads to conflict. Those who take advice are wise. Tony doesn't seek wise counsel. He makes an executive decision without leaving any room for discussion, and that's what leads to war. Steve Rogers isn't against consequences. He's against allowing corrupt people to have the power to control those consequences. He's seen firsthand what happens when governments abuse power. The World Security Council tried to nuke New York City. SHIELD was infiltrated by Hydra. And even if it hadn't been infiltrated by Hydra, it still planned to hold a gun to everybody's head in the world in the name of protection. For Steve, freedom is more important than protection and control. He knows that once you give men power over others, it's only a matter of time before they start to abuse that power. But Steve has his own blind spots. He's so convinced that he's right, he's stopped listening to what Tony's trying to say, and he's missed that Tony has been hurting all along. Do not let selfish ambition or conceit drive you, but in humility, consider others more important than yourself. Steve and Tony both fell at this. They become so focused on proving themselves right that they stopped caring about their brother. One of the most frustrating aspects about Civil War is probably one of its most realistic. This entire conflict could have been avoided had Tony and Steve just held to this one truth. A soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. Instead of listening to each other, they dig their heels in. Instead of seeking peace, they let anger take over. And Zemo, he doesn't beat them with strength. He beats them by letting their own wounds destroy them. This is a reminder of how Satan attacks us. He doesn't always do it head on. Often he whispers a lie and then steps back and watches us destroy ourselves. This is exactly what happens in Civil War. Instead of seeking wisdom, humility, and understanding, Steve and Tony both let their emotions cloud their judgment. And because of that, they lose. Do not hate your brother in your heart, but rebuke your neighbor frankly so you will not share in his guilt. Captain America Civil War is one of the most thought-provoking films in the MCU, not because it deals with some grand hero versus villain storyline, but it's about how unresolved wounds can tear any friendship apart. It reminds us of this key truth. Make every effort to keep unity of the spirit through the bond of peace. If Tony and Steve had truly sought peace over victory, they would have saved their friendship and the Avengers. And that's a lesson we should all take to heart. All right, guys, thank y'all so much for riding along in the minivan. Over the last couple of weeks, we've covered all 3 of the Captain America movies. We're gonna cover Brave New World when that drops this week. We'll be there Thursday midnight premiere, have a video this weekend, and then I've got something fun planned for Captain America or for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, a retrospective look back and see if the show was good, if it was bad, if it's one of the bad MCU shows or one of the good Disney Plus MCU shows. So be on the lookout for those videos coming out soon. Peace.